Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us, whatever time it is where you are. My name is Josie, and I work at the Middle East Children's Alliance, and I'm joining you this evening, my time, from Palestine. I was born and raised in Oakland, California, but now live just outside of Bethlehem. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the Middle East Children's Alliance, we're a nonprofit organization in California. And we've sent over $29 million in aid to Palestine, Lebanon, and Iraq in their 35 years now history. But in addition to the aid work that we do, which we always do our aid work in a different way, trying to support the local economy. For example, this year when we distributed backpacks to children in Gaza, we made sure that they were made at a local factory so that we're supporting businesses and cooperatives who are producing the products that we then use. But we also build water purification units in schools in Gaza. Over 100,000 children have access to clean, safe drinking water thanks to our Maya project. We provide university scholarships to Palestinian students who are studying for a brighter future. This year, we're very proud to have 150 young people at 11 different universities in Palestine who are continuing their education with MECA's support. And then at the heart of MECA's work really is our community programs for children. So all over Palestine, we work with community centers that provide different services for kids. They have music programs and dance classes. They have libraries, they have sports clubs, different things depending on what the needs are for the children in their community. We provide psychosocial support for children who have been arrested. And that is actually, why we're here tonight. One of our amazing partners, the Palestine Writing Workshop. This is a benefit for their work and also a celebration of the new collection of poetry out in English by the director of the Palestine Writing Workshop. So we have with us tonight Maya Al-Hayyat, also joining us from Jerusalem, Palestine, which is very exciting. And we have with us another wonderful poet, Deema Shehabi, who is a longtime friend and supporter of MECA. We've been fortunate enough to organize different events over the years with her, and we're very glad she could be with us tonight. The book that we're celebrating is You Can Be the Last to Leave, and we will be sharing a link for how you can get your own copy later on in this event if you don't have one already. I wanted to say thank you to the Sacramento Bethlehem Sister City Project, who is co-sponsoring this event tonight. We're very excited about this. And just a few technical things. We suggest that you have gallery view so that you can see all of us when we're speaking. We'll turn off our cameras to make sure that whoever is reading poetry, has the full spotlight on them as much as we can in this virtual event. So thank you for making that work. And we will also be taking questions at the end. So you can use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And you can write in questions anytime during the event. And when we get to that point in the program, we'll be able to see them. And you can put in questions for Maya or for Deema. Also, this event is being recorded, and we'll be sharing a link with you afterwards so that you can view it again and share with your friends and family. We are going to start. The program is going to be that Maya and Deema are going to both read Maya's poetry in Arabic and English. So I would like to, pass the mic to Maya with the introduction. I'm not going to do the formal introduction, but Maya is a very gifted writer and storyteller. I still remember the first time I met Maya. We were in Jalazon refugee camp, and there was a summer camp, and the kids were very active and excited, and there was a lot of noise, and they came into the room and were running around, and then Maya began telling them a story. And suddenly everything got very quiet. You know, there must have been 50 kids in this hall, and they all sat down enraptured, listening to Maya. And then the noise came back as Maya invited them in to help them tell the story and act it out. You know, she really does have an incredible gift. She's a beautiful, creative person, and she really knows how to bring that out in everyone. So we're very fortunate to work with the Palestine Writing Workshop and with Maya. They do great work for kids, publishing books. So she is not just a poet. She does so much. And so we're really looking forward to hearing your words tonight, Maya. Thank you.
Thank you, Josie, and thanks for Deema for to read with me and to read her poetry also. I'm very honored to be with her in at the same panel. And I want to thank all my friends who's attending now, the one I knew already from California and the new one. Thank you very much. It's always very emotional when when I and Mecca work together. It's always like we have this history, because I begin my work with children because of Mecca, and since then, since 2013 until now, I am doing like the same things in different places, and I feel very emotional when Mecca like introducing me like this for their audience and mine, I hope. So I will read one poem in Arabic, and thanks Deema, she will read it with me. And later we will read one poem from Deema, and maybe later I will read another one from me, and maybe we'll go like this. Yes, Deema? Good?
Sounds good, Maya. Sounds good.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope some people in the audience know Arabic, because I will read in Arabic. Raise your hand if you know Arabic. Okay. Yay! We have some audience. Yalla, bravo. Thank you. Okay. في رثاء شهوة الأمهات سأتذكر وأنا أرتب سريري وسرير طفلين آخرين، وأنا أمسح قيء أحدهما عن الأرض، وأنا أفتح نافذة على غبار الشارع، وأنا أقلع شوكاً من إصيص لا يخرج الورد، وأنا أقرأ وصفة لطريقة عمل المنسف على أصوله، وأنا أرتق شلحة بيضاء ثقبتها الأصابع الصغيرة، وأنا أعد ميزانية فصل الشتاء، وأنا أتفقد رائحة لحاف تفوح بالنشادر، وأنا أقلب قنوات الأطفال الست لأجد توم أند جيري تحت الطلب، وأنا أبحث في حقيبة السوبر ماركت عن فوطة منسية. سأتذكر وأنا أغسل جسداً بحجم الكف، وأنا أزيل بقايا خضراء من أنوف طرية، وأنا أزيل التشابك من في شعر غزته الشوكولاتة والمصاص ومربى المشمش، وأنا أقرأ قصصاً عن النمل النشيط والأسود الكسولة والفقمات المهاجرة، وأنا أنزع العلكة من أسفل حذائي وقلبي، وأنا أبحث عن الطريقة الأفضل لإزالة بقع الزيت، وأنا أقضم الأظافر 20 بعد بحث طويل عن المقص. سأتذكر حين يلمسني طفل بالخطأ في أماكن لا تعمل، حين ترشقني الحنفية بمياهها، حين تعلنني المسلسلات التركية مشاهدتها المخلصة، حين تقرصني كفان تجتمعان أسفل الطاولة في مطعم، حين أنقب في قصص الأصدقاء عن شهوات حية. سأذكرهم كلهم، أمهات بعيون صفراء، كلهم مرة واحدة ينطلقون أمامي، الأفخاذ البيضاء المستبيحة لساحة البيت، الغضب العابر في أوقات محددة من الشهر، القلق المفرط على فاتورة الهاتف، وجع البطن لانتفاخات لا تنتهي، تفسير أحلام الشياطين العابثة، فناجين القهوة الجاهزة للتأمل، أغنية التنورة الزرقاء فوق الركبة المفلطحة، شفاه تنز من شدة العض، ستيانات كبيرة حافظة الدنانير والقروش القليلة، مرايل منسية فوق كروش مدورة، وقصص بنات الجيران الداشرات التي لا تتوقف، أمهات بجدائل مقصوصة وحنة طينية تسيل على الحاجبين، وشهوات ميتة.
Beautiful, Maya. Elegy for the desire of mothers. As I make my bed and my 2 kids' beds, I'll remember. As I wipe one's vomit off the floor, open a window to the dust on the road, trim rose thorns in a pot that doesn't bud, and as I read a recipe for authentic mensaf, mend a white gown that little fingers have ripped holes through, I'll remember. As I balance winter's budget, sniff a quilt for ammonia, flip through the 6 children's channels looking for Tom and Jerry per request, and as I search in my supermarket for a purse for a stray pad, I'll remember. As I bathe a body the size of my palm, remove green boogers from tendril nostrils, untangle hair that chocolate, lollipop, and apricot jam have invaded, and as I read stories about vibrant ants, lazy lions, and migrant seals, degum my heart and the sole of my shoe, search for the best method to remove oil stains from a fabric, clip 20 nails after a long quest for clippers, I'll remember. When a child touches me innocently in places that no longer work, when the faucet sprays me and Turkish soap operas declare me their #1 fan, when 2 hands pinch me under the table in a restaurant, and when I mine my friends' stories for living desires, I'll remember to mention them all. Mothers with jaundiced eyes spilling before me whole their dazzling thighs that defile the house, their fleeting anger in certain times of the month, their belly cramps of endless bloating, and their interpretation of dreams for little ridiculous devils, their coffee cups for fortune telling, their song of a blue skirt and a broad knee, lips that ooze from self-biting, large bras to safekeep coins and bills, forgotten aprons over plump guts, and the non-stop anecdotes about the licentious girls next door, mothers with cut braids and clay henna on both sides of a face, and dead desires.
أحلام يقظة. سأكتب عن فرح يغزو جنين من جهاتها الست، عن أطفال يركضون بالبالونات في مخيم الأمعري، عن شبع يسكت الرضع طوال الليل في عسكر، عن بحر نمشي حوله بكامل البطء في تلكرم، عن عيون تحدق في وجوه الناس في بلاطة، عن امرأة ترقص للمنتظرين على قلنديا، عن وجع في خصيرة الرجال من فرح عابث في عزون، عنك وعني نملأ جعبتنا بالصدف والجنون ونبني مدينة.
Daydream. I'll write about a joy that invades Janine from 6 directions, about children running while holding balloons in Amari camp, about a fullness that quiets breastfeeding babies all night in Askar, about a little sea we can stroll up and down in Tulkaram, about eyes that stare in people's faces in Balata, about a woman dancing for people in line at the checkpoint in Qalandia, about stitches in the sides of laughing men in Azoum, about you and me stuffing our pockets with seashells and madness, and building a city.
ترتب الأمهات أوجاعها في الليل، وجع المفاصل، ارتفاع السكري، الروماتيزم، برد الولد الذي غاب. الأمهات يحزن على أشياء غير مفهومة، على أمهات أخريات مثلاً يقفن في الشوارع العامة، يحملن صور أبنائهن المزينة بسوالف وشوارب ثخينة، وينتظرن مرور الكاميرات على الصور وتشقق اليدين. الأمهات يحمين عواميد البيت من السقوط، يفتحن النوافذ، يرفعن السجاد على الأسطح، يخرجن العث من قلوب السرائر الفارغة لاحتمال من سيأتي. لا شروط للعودة لديهن، لا أبواب مغلقة. الأمهات اللواتي يرتبن أوجاعهن في الليل ويمسحن شعور البنات بالزيوت، يتقلبن في المضاجع، وحين ينمن يشخرن فيصير للبيت اسماً وصوت.
Mothers arrange their aches at night, joint pain, high sugar, rheumatic ailments, a boy who missed school because of a cold. Mothers feel sadness for mysterious reasons, like sadness over other mothers who stand in public streets holding photos of their sons' well-groomed faces with sideburns and mustaches, waiting for the cameras to capture them and their chapped hands. Mothers who hold up the house beams, open windows, air out carpets on roofs, expel moths from the hearts of abandoned mattresses in case a visitor arrives. Mothers who stipulate no conditions for return, arrange their aches at night, and wash their daughters' hair with oil in bed they toss and turn. And when they fall asleep, they snore and give the house a name and a voice.
Can we read the last one is, I think, what if? What if? انتحار. كل خروج من البيت محاولة انتحار، وكل عودة فشل. وأنا أخاف ألا أعود، أخاف انفجار الإطارات المحروقة، تهور الجنود، تعصب المراهقين، وغفوة سائق الشحن، وإيجاد ما كنت أبحث عنه. أريد العودة إلى البيت كاملة، لهذا أترك فتاة من الخبز في الطريق. هكذا أستمر بالخروج والعودة قبل أن تأكل الطيور خبزي كله.
What if? What if every time I leave the house, it's suicide, and each return a failed attempt? What if burning tires exploded and the soldiers went rogue? What if teenagers turned radical and the truck driver dozed off at the wheel? What if I find what I'm looking for? I want to return home whole. I mark the roads with crumbs to help me come and go until the birds eat all my bread. It's beautiful, Maya.
Great. Thank you so much, Deema and Maya. That was really beautiful. I enjoyed the reading. We'd now like to invite Deema to read some of her own work. Deema is the author of 13 Departures from the Moon and co-editor of Al-Mutanabbi Street Starts Here, which she received the Northern California Book Awards Recognition Award for. She co-authored Diaspora with Marilyn Hacker and won the 2018 Nazim Hikmet Poetry Competition. Her work has appeared in the Literary Imagination, the Kenyan Review, Literary Hub, Poetry London, and Crab Orchard, and has been translated into French, Farsi, and Arabic. Deema has been nominated for the Pushcart Prize several times as well. So we're really fortunate to have her with us tonight to share her own poetry, or this morning, pardon me, wrong time zone. Please, Deema.
Thank you so much, Josie. Thank you, Maya. It's such an honor to be here with you as well. And I've long been an admirer of your work, and I'm just stunned by the power of these poems. And right after my poetry reading, I can't wait to delve in with some questions about your thoughts. So thank you so much, I'm honored. I'd like to begin with a love poem, which intersects the landscapes of Palestine and California at uneven longitudes. It's called Tracery of Dune and Chamomile, and it's after Marie Howe. 1. It was only when your eyes finally closed against a weeping cherry, lashing your face in the spent season, lashing roses spent in fugue with long drought, the soil beneath sun-flogged and showing its white, wormy marrow, like it was the beginning again when we wrote each other supplicant sentences, but there was no beginning, as when you held a mirror to my face, saying, this is what language is, a smoke crumpling on the light, your voice beyond argument, insisting on joining the emphatic dead, when I realized how dream-led I am, my face not yet broken by butterflies. 2. Defiled by roses, a garden lifting towards the Jura Mountains and drinking white butterflies with a half-red face. Greenhouses with Damascene roses brushing the distance, but there is no perfume in the air. When in rows of successive summers, the woodpecker maims 2 poplars in ritualistic primal. And in the dream, we patch those scars with sawdust, filling until even our nails pierce yellow and our eyes float grit. Is this innocence lost, I ask, as you swear your allegiance to poplars over woodpeckers? 3. Smoke in my nostrils from the Calder fire, when flames sprout in the hills above Jerusalem, unearthing Palestinian terraces, swelling like topographic maps of our could-have-been childhood. But there was no childhood that wasn't an allegory, as when I stood outside watering the garden grapevines, all the while feeding my eyes to the ashes and wondering about this colossal of origins, when I finally understood your silence as hope, your non-belonging to me as hunger. I will read, the next poem is a little ghazal, and it's really about Gaza and other, things that happen in daily life. So it's called Ghazal, the Sun. Secondhand wrinkles on forehead, she applies kuhl in the sun. Eyebrows reprieve, but then there's a frown. Ah, the sun. Ceasefire. Gaza's children pour into the school courtyard and ask, will they, can they bomb the sun? My skin's leafy pattern, your mouth conjuring vain as we trudge along date palms in the sun. Inside my chest, you are still sown, Palestine, like seedlings of tiny watermelons, soon to become mother balms in the sun. Fretting in the cell where she has to give birth, Anhar angles her womb towards a ray, small of sun. There's a whole house here, he says, little of it, my creation, toys, food, and then there's me flailing in the arms of the sun. A global vaccine war, a nationalist agenda, whose flesh mirrors violence, which other befalls, befalls empires harm in the sun. Maybe one more poem. And this is also a love poem for my husband as we're driving to Lake Tahoe. And because we have a lot of droughts in California and there's been a lot of fires, when we looked to the right and we looked to the left of the highway, the trees were all still kind of suffering from, the landscape was burnt, but I could still see hummingbirds in the distance, like coming in, even despite the landscape burning. So this is a reflection on driving to the lake and yet thinking about where we've come from. We have our children in the back of the car. And it's called, this poem is called A Summer's Tale with Firebirds. Ghosts of hybrid hummingbirds, iridescent green, lurch forward in the charred trees along the highway. We drive to the lake basin as thousands of acres burn. Redwood, white fir, ponderosa pine, giant sequoias, the rhythm of their fall apparent only to firefighters and prison inmates making $2 a day. No sign of the large pebbles, mossy and slippery at the lake's entrance. We barely notice the water's altered eyelids shallow at the sky's mouth. This time, our entry into the cool current at high altitude leaves you with no air, and our boys gawk at the spectacle of a breathless father. Bruised with sea eyes, they know nothing of checkpoints, nor functionaries with ruby-lined fingers at passport control windows. They have a home beneath a live oak and Siberian elms. Its windows are married to arbutus merino. Its fences are lined with honeysuckle vines. Our sadness, a penultimate inertia, is more expectant than theirs. In the morning, you crave a lupine grief, an easel kiss on the nose. In your dream, there are two of me, one through the keyhole and one on your side of the door. Does she wear a nightgown with anemones too, I ask? We gleam open like the lake, our rib cages still intact. Thank you. So, Josie.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing your words as well. Thanks for joining us tonight, Deema. Before we go into listening to these incredible Palestinian women poets, talk more about their work and outside of work as well, I just wanted to let people know that Maya's new collection of poetry is available through Mecca's online shop, Shop Palestine, and Violette, our fabulous Zoom tech tonight, has put up this for anyone who knows how to use a QR code. There's that, or you can just go to shoppalestine.org and you can get your copy there. All right, thank you. Back to you, ladies.
Thank you, Josie. Maya, again, I'm so excited about your beautiful reading. And I wanted to begin my first question. As a Palestinian woman who writes both about the collective grief of Palestine and the collective, all of it, and the private griefs of individual Palestinians, can you talk a little bit, Maya, about the burden of carrying Palestine on your back?
Mm-hmm.
How does that burden both transform your art and contain it at the same time?
Yeah, it's so hard. I was just before this webinar, I was like talking to like maybe 7 or 8 Palestinian former prisoners through creative writing workshop. We take creative writing workshop together. And one of them was telling me that she's when she tried to write, she feels that she's shaking, and she's like, she don't want to think about it. She don't want to go near the things that she really want to write about, because she feels that she can't handle it. She will collapse. And I was telling her that, giving her my maybe just stupid notes, that maybe writing can put that distance between you and your real life, your real stories, and make a distance. And that distance can make you control. And this is like, when you write a story, you control the events, you control the scene, you control everything that you can't control in your real life. And maybe this is what the power of writing can give you as a human being, as a Palestinian. And I think I had this since I was very, very little in my life, because all my life was because of Palestinian case. Everything was connected to being a Palestinian. I was born in Lebanon for a Palestinian father and Lebanese mother. They were divorced. We had this war. We couldn't see my mother for long years. I was in Tunis. And then we come back to Palestine. I had all this my life, these events, and it's all very private. But I am sharing it now because it's not private for me. It's like a collective memory that we all share and we all understand when we talk about my life. So it's there is something that is very powerful when you have the writing tool in your side. But at the same time, it's very frightened and very pressure in you as a writer, because you also like have all these responsibilities to be real and to tell the truth, to be to always have this have it in your shoulder. As a Palestinian, you have this pressure to tell something, to tell a story. And sometimes you don't want to tell anything. You just want to be you and go crazy and do crazy things. But it's you always will have this, that you have this guilt that you can't laugh for too long. You can't. You need to do something or to tell something because you are a Palestinian. And at the same time, you want to talk about the kids that they are killed for no reason, and at the same time you wanna stand with them because they are doing all these resistance, and they are carrying Palestine on their shoulders. So it's you are between everything, as a Palestinian, as a woman, as a poet, as a human being that have responsibility to his country or her country. So yeah.
That's a beautiful response, Maya. My goodness. I mean, I'll follow up with another question. Obviously, the struggle for a free Palestine is reaching new heights now. And also the cruelty of the occupation is intensifying. It's getting worse. Tell us about, again, writing under occupation. And really my question is, how will the Palestinian revolution be born again, in your opinion? Maybe a hard question, but how do you see it coming up again?
Yeah, it's always there. I feel it like when I was at the university, I was living the same scene that we are living it now. I had to say it in Nablus. I was raised in Nablus. I had my university in Nablus. It was the same. It was in the second intifada. It was the same, and we had the same things again and again. Every 3 or 2 or 4 years, you will have the same revolution, because it never ends. Actually, the occupation didn't end in any moment, so it's continue, but you don't hear about it all the time. Every day there is killing. Every day there's people taken to prisons. Every day there is a lot of things on ground, but you don't see it every day. You don't see it on media, at least, but it's there every day. And I think we just do it like by talking to each other. Like now we are talking to each other. We are doing revolution, like people talking to each other at streets and looking to each other in when they read the newspaper, when they tell poetry, when they go to see movie. There is always a revolution happen or a talk about revolution.
Always.
It's always happening. It never stopped. Yani. You see, yani, I think for ordinary people who's like not intellectual, not like not those people who's like talking a lot, like the ordinary people, it's there. They are in a revolution. In their own way, they are always in a revolution. But somebody had to talk about it to become a revolution.
A real
sometimes.
revolution.
Yeah.
No, I love the idea that it's all the fire is always there. It's never snuffed out. I love that idea. I think, yeah. And Maya, I love the title of your collection, You Can Be the Last Leaf, right? It's very evocative and hopeful. The poet translator Fadi Juda says in his beautiful introduction to your book that your poems, quote, celebrate survival as the last leaf in autumn is sister to the first leaf in spring. So the last leaf in autumn is sister to the first leaf in spring. I'm struck by the everlasting sources of renewal and creativity in your poems. Please talk a little bit about how you find your sources of inspiration and renewal. Where does this wellspring come from? Where does the spring of your creativity come from?
Well, working with the children, I had to admit, yeah. And I was in a point which was very dark in my life. It was very, very, very dark. If you read my poetry, you will understand. But I'm sorry, just a minute. Okay, my kids just entered. Yeah, it's fine now. Okay. So there was a point that was very, very hard on me, and because also I was fed up even from the intellectual and always speak talking, and like I wanted to be. I always had this like I wanted to be alone in a way. That's why I'm writing actually, to be. It's sometimes just to be alone, yeah. But at the same time, I'm this human being who's like very like have this all this energy. I need to work and move all the time and do things and do crazy things. And I found myself with children. There's a writer called Almaz Abu Nader. She lives in I think Michigan, and she's Lebanese American. And she came to Palestine and gave us a workshop and how to train trainers, and I took it like just for this, and then I began to work with children, and a whole new world opened to me. Now I will do everything just to work with children, to work with teenagers. I feel this is the future, and this is what you can. This is the place where you can change and where you can put positive energy and. We need them as a Palestinian. We need this generation, and I feel so bad because this generation is like also have all this guilt, and they have all this pressure to free Palestine because we didn't do anything for them to have a normal life, and we don't also have that luxury to give them this life. But I feel guilty all the time because we need to give these children the place and the freedom to live and do their creativity, not them to give us the solutions for our future, and because this is what is happening now. There are children who's like killed every day.
That makes a lot of sense. It's our responsibility to give them something which they can hang on to. And actually, speaking of that, as you're saying, the creativity aspect of the children offering you this renewal and wellspring of creativity, talk about a little bit, Maya, about your work with the Palestine Writing Workshop. So what do you do for the children at the Palestine Writing Workshop?
Yeah, Anna, I started this with Makkah, because there was like the Palestine writing workshop was before me. It was like a small initiative, and it was going to close, and I was working on some projects, and then they asked me to maybe you can run it, volunteering to run it, and I said okay, maybe I will try, and then I registered the whole NGO. It's an NGOs now, and we have projects. We publish books for children. We do creative writing workshops with teachers and adults and mothers and writers, young writers all over, not just Palestine, actually all over the world, by Zoom and etc. And now we have like a website that has lots of resources for teachers and writers, videos, storytelling, and yeah, you can check the website. Storytelling, creative writing exercises for children. The teachers can just print it and use it in schools. So yeah, we are we are a small organization, but at the same time we are doing great like big effort, because we love it. It's not just, it's not work for me. This is like my project. My passion. Yeah, and I do it because I love it. That's why I do more than 100 things, because I need to I need money from other resources. Yeah. But Palestine writing workshop is like just my baby, and I do very, like, we are trying to do artistic work, like book for children, which are very creative and artistic, and had the critical aspects, because we don't have this in Arab words. Like all the children works, children books, most of them are very educational, just sometimes, you know, religious, sometimes it's just for yes and no. It's not like creative, just to understand kids' mentality, emotional needs, philosophical aspects also. So we try to do this in our books, and I think yani we are doing a good job on that aspect. Yani we have like 23 titles for children and teenagers. We have resources also for teachers, because this is very important also. Like you need to give resources for teachers in order to do the creative work with the children later.
Fantastic. I have some more questions, but I just wanted to make sure that the audience, if we can maybe open, I know that we're on a time clock, so I just want to make sure if there are audience questions. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing nothing yet from the audience. Thank you, Josie. Okay, so I will continue asking, and if you want to let me know if there's some questions.
No, we have actually. Maybe we have from Sahar Mustafa.
Oh, Sahar. Hi, Sahar. Okay, let's see. Here it is. Thank you. Hi, Sahar. Welcome, Sahar. So Maya, I will read the question, and okay, Sahar is asking. Sahar, who you might know, is also a novelist. She says, as a fellow educator, I'm incredibly inspired by Maya's work with young Palestinians to help them raise their voices. What are challenges Maya faces under occupation in her creative spaces, as well as the spaces she holds for young people? Thank you, Sahar.
My biggest my biggest barrier is like the checkpoints all the time. We have like I had to cross the checkpoints all the time, and at the same time we have checkpoints also in mind, and because, you know, in order also to enter the children's mind, you need also to cross the checkpoints, because like we are occupied here, not just physically we are under occupation, and you think under occupation, you create under occupation, you do things under occupation, even if you don't notice it, but everything is happening under occupation. And the children are raised under occupation. They think the first thing they would think about is the occupation, the soldiers, the gun. Everybody wants to be a murdered, this is like the biggest dream for all the children, to be held on the hands and be the victory. This is the victory, So in order to build imagination, to help them to widen their imagination, in order to think that there is something else, that we can free Palestine. We don't want to be killed in order to free Palestine. We also want to work from the inside, to see things, to clear things, to analyze things in different way, not just to dream about killing ourselves, for example, because this is occupation. This is how you think under occupation. So I think this is the biggest barrier for me. And sometimes I have to admit, everybody's opening their hands for me, just to open to go to schools, and they love what I do, thank God, but I do it alone. I feel like I am alone, not too much appreciation for creativity. Everybody wants their kids to have information, not knowledge. You need to open their minds about the knowledge. What is knowledge itself? What it means to read a story, not just to memorize some lesson or just to memorize some information. So you need to work with not just the kids, also with the parents and the mothers and the whole education system, which is not very perfect in that aspect. So it's lots of things that need to be done before you go to the children.
That's a beautiful response, Maya. I hear what you're saying about that. Are there any questions? Other additional questions? I'm seeing somebody was raising.
I think there is Catherine, but I'm not sure what she sent. Can you send chat to Catherine? Okay. Catherine is raising her hand. Can she speak or no?
The Mecca team is asking everyone to submit their questions under the Q&A tab, which would be better. But in the meantime, I have a quick question, Maya.
Yeah.
What I love about your poems is how circular they are. So they return to preoccupations, daily preoccupations, cataloging the lives of mothers, children, domestic griefs, that are really, the domestic griefs are ordinary yet big, sizable. So I love your poem that you read, Mothers Arrange Their Aches at Night, or the same thing in the Elegy for the Desire of Mothers, which is another wonderful listing of the physical and mental heroisms of mothers, really. Physical and mental mothers are such heroes. And yet, in your poems, this is what strikes me, you find a way to exit the inventory and enter the ephemeral or the everlasting in each of these poems. What is the process you use to turn your gaze outward and away towards what's new and possible? So away from the domestic and into the outward.
Yeah. It's, you need to see things from the inside, and to also have the whole knowledge from the outside. I think I have this, I notice things, very, very little things I appreciate it. I love it, you know, when ordinary people, like, it's like I go through the public transportation all the time. I listen to people, what they talk on the streets. I always like listen to the and fascinated by this, like, you know, normal chats and like everyday chats, but it's amazing. It's and I'm fascinated by the how the Palestinians women, actually, especially mothers, because they are cleaning their kids' blood, you know, and they are managing to continue their life, raising new children, having new hopes, raising their voices and say things, and, you know, and act in certain ways, because and they are gather the whole family together, you know, they are putting the whole things together, and we still alive because of actually our mothers, really our mothers, because yani, they could be like collapse, yani.
Of course, yes.
It's a normal situation, like this is unnormal. I don't think this is normal. Like when you talk about, when you listen to mothers, there's a friend of mine, she was like writing the just like scripting for the mothers who lost their kids, and just listening to this the script, it's like what he says before he died, this what, you know, these little things, normal talking, and then she's like now alive and doing and cooking and doing new things, and you will never find a woman collapse after her, even if she's inside, she is collapsed, but she will hold the family together and go on. And this is how Palestine is still alive until now. So when you see these little things, and at the same time, you are trying to find, as an intellectual, as a person who read and like trying to analyze things, you look at it from the outside, and you feel this hope. You feel the energy that is like in the wheel, yani it's never end. So I always like, I'm always trying to hold my laugh and hope, and even if I am collapsing, I will always like try to laugh in the middle, and because this is how we can resist. It's a resistance, yeah, in a way.
Continuing is a form of resistance. Thank you. That was a beautiful answer. We have another question from Priscilla Waddington, who's another Palestinian poet. She says, how do you think about translation of your work? Or what do you think about translation of your work? Do you think of it as a separate, creative, and perhaps political act? As the work travels to a new language location, right? Your work is being received here in America or in the English language world, or do you see it as part of the same original creative act? So what do you think about translation?
Yeah, I have to admit, in some point, it is political. It's always like translation is a political act. Yeah, we had to understand that. But you have the choice of what kind of political act you wanna take. Yeah, and I believe that translation is the whole creative process that creates a new text, which should be should be understandable in the new context, you know, because it's translation is like doing putting yourself in another context, not just in another language, because language is culture, and sometimes something is understandable for me, but it's not understandable for you, and so it's I believe that the translator put himself, also his experience and his language and his way of looking to the text itself, and so we will have like a new text, which is my text, but at the same time it's a new text. It's not the same text. This is my the whole translation, not just this translation. This is how I look to the translation in general. يعني.
Great. Any follow-up questions or anything at all?
I think there's another question of Catherine.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice, Catherine. Okay. Are any of your books for children bilingual, available in Arabic and English? If so, is Mecca selling them?
Yeah, actually, there's a one book called The Blue Pool of Question. It's also translated into English by Penny Candy in US, and it's I think it's available in Mecca with Mecca selling. Yeah.
Yeah, they just posted the link on
Yeah.
the on the
Yeah.
chat for everyone. So I have one one last question, and I think maybe we can wrap up. In your poem, and unless there's somebody else from the audience, I guess we're good. Okay. In your poem, some microbes, you talk about the condition of living as a Palestinian where the sense of normal is not normal, right? And especially as it pertains to occupation. In one point, you said something about, I counter microbes with supplements that give me headaches and good standing in a middle class that guards against a painful death. So tell me, what does it mean to live under the pretenses, shadows, falsehoods of a middle class life in the West Bank under occupation?
Yeah, because we also have middle class عادي.
Yeah, I thought maybe you put it in your poem, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think we have, as everybody else, or maybe it's because of the age. I believe sometimes it's because of the age, not because of the condition or the in some age point in your life, you feel like you are accomplished some things. You have a little money, so you will feel like you want to make some luxury for yourself يعني انه هيك تدللي حالك يعني So and actually we have this new, I think new طبقة ايش يعني نسيت
a class of
we have a class created actually by NGOs and all the funding that come with the NGOs that create this class of people that they feel they are a little bit superior and they are not from the authorities, so they have this superior that they are not they are different, and at the same time they have lots of money, not like the other people يعني. So they feel that they are superior a little bit, so they made for them like a special type of system and routine and life, so and sometimes I feel like I am one of them, so and I feel bad because of that. Like I take supplements, I take vitamins, I am afraid of myself, and I feel like okay. Yeah, but
and yet yes, and yet there should be no, you should do what you wish to do and be dalale. I mean, this is a human human rights.
But when you do that, actually, sometimes you just feel like, you feel something weird, especially when you do it in Palestine. Yeah,
no, I understand. So I just found that to be such an interesting little line. So thanks for speaking about that. Thank you so much, Maya. This was an amazingly beautiful, all your responses were just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deema. Thank you for your questions.
Yeah, I'm just going to check one more time to see if there's any more questions, but this was really, thank you both. I really enjoyed hearing your questions and Maya's responses. It was really interesting to listen to both of you, your poetry in the beginning, and then this conversation about Maya's work as well. Thank you so much. I do want to remind everyone this is an event that is a benefit for the Palestine Writing Workshop. there is a special donation page. Your ticket sales today are going to support their work. And if you are inclined to make another contribution or to let your friends know about the Palestine Writing Workshop, we've also shared the link for their website, which Maya mentioned some of the amazing resources that they have available. You can watch also some videos of Maya doing storytelling for some of these books that they've published.
Can I do a quick share for the websites just to make, can you give me a co-host? Is it possible?
Yeah, Violette, can you give her the permission?
Just want to give them where they can go to find things.
Yes, you should have permission now, Maya.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Just a minute. For people who have kids or they just they enjoy their life. We have videos here. This is a program was filmed with Riwaq in Beit Hanina village, the storytelling and songs. We also have Falful fi Beit al-Ghul for those who were attending California's storytelling. This is and we also have how to draws in how to use some technique to draw and for storytelling also. So and here you can find our book stores, the store. Okay, here's our stories, all our stories is here. You can just put here for free, مجانا. For free, you can see all the things that you can download. These are all of these are creative exercises that you can just print and have with kids or class or something. You just can just print it. I love this. This exercise is very beautiful. Actually, everybody can do it. This is Samira is my friend. She listened to me very well. So Samira is a beautiful ear. So here you can draw your friends or family member as symbols. So maybe Deema, she has a, I don't know, she has a car, she can take me everywhere. Maybe so I will draw her as a car. Some kids were driving their grandmother as a car or as a dollar or as something like that. You can do this exercise with everybody and it's open their creativity to see things in different way. Thank you for just making sure.
Cute.
Fantastic. Yeah. So I encourage everybody, definitely explore their website. They also have Facebook and Instagram, right, Maya?
Yeah.
So you can keep up with their news. And please, if you are inclined to make another contribution for their work, you can make a tax deductible donation through Mecca. But really, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. I really enjoyed this evening, and I hope that you did too. Thank you a lot, Deema and Maya, for your time and your words and all of your great insights.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was lovely to meet you, Maya, and thank you, Josie.
Thank you, Habib. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Great. Yes. So here's the link, and we'll be following up with everyone also to send you the link to the recording so you can listen again and share. Right.